Today I'm going to teach you the most effective opening for white, for those of you below 1200 elo. That opening is the Italian game. Even though it doesn't have the highest win rate, it's the best opening to learn, due to its solid lines and easy positioning. Before we start, this is the beginner video. It is for players under about 1200. The intermediate and advanced versions of this will be separate videos on this channel. Italian game is 3 moves: pawn to e4, knight to f3, bishop to c4. When you play e4, you take your share of the center and you open the diagonal for exactly this bishop. That is the whole point of the move. Everything white does in this opening flows through that diagonal. Now, knight to f3. You play knight f3 to attack the pawn on e5, and this matters more than it looks. Black has to spend a move dealing with a real threat, which means black does not get a free move to start their own plan. Most beginners defend it with knight to c6, and that is the correct move. And bishop to c4. The reason why the bishop goes to c4 is because it points at f7, and f7 is the one square in black's position that only the king defends. Every tactic you will win with in this opening starts from that fact. Count the defenders of f7 right now. It is the king. Just the king. From here, teach yourself to watch one thing. Where does black's kingside knight go? That knight decides which game you are playing. Black plays knight to f6, the knight attacks your e4 pawn, and normally you would have to stop and defend it. However, when black plays knight f6 in this specific position, you have knight to g5, and suddenly the f7 square is attacked twice. Bishop and knight, both hitting the square only the king defends. Black's one good move here is pawn to d5, and below 1200, most players find it. About 2 out of 3 play it. So the trap is not that they miss d5. The trap is the move right after. You take on d5, and now black has to recapture. The knight takes back, knight takes d5, and it looks completely natural. It is also the move that loses. Almost 2/3 of players below 1200 take with the knight, and the moment they do, your knight takes f7, forking the queen and the rook. The move that actually holds is knight to a5, hitting your bishop, and only about 1 in 5 players finds it. This is the freed liver, and it works, because the losing move is the natural one. Black plays bishop to c5, you get the main line. You will respond with pawn to c3. This looks like a quiet little move, and beginners skip it constantly. You play c3 to prepare pawn to d4, because with a pawn on c3, when black captures on d4, you recapture with the pawn and keep a full pawn center. Cost is real. c3 takes the best square away from your queenside knight for a while. The reason why it is worth that cost is because the center pawns gain space and open lines, while black's bishop on c5 gets pushed around with tempo. Then castle. Don't get creative about this. King safety first, every game. Then pawn to d4. Now look at what black's bishop on c5 is feeling. If black takes on d4, you take back with the c3 pawn, and the bishop has to move again. If black retreats, you have the big center for free. Either way, your pieces have more room than theirs for the rest of the game. Now, I will tell you about 2 mistakes that will cost you games. The first one is grabbing the e5 pawn at the wrong time. Sometimes black leaves it hanging. Knight takes e5 looks free, and then a queen check or a knight jump wins your piece back. Second mistake is forgetting the bishop. The c4 bishop is your best piece, and black knows it. When black plays pawn to d5, they are offering material to shut that diagonal. Normally, an offered pawn in the opening is a pawn you should think hard about. However, when the pawn arrives on d5 attacking your bishop, in this specific structure, the right reaction is almost always to take it. Keep the diagonal open and let the bishop keep breathing.